Yeah, my name is John Burris. Today, my office, I filed a $10 million lawsuit against the city of South San Francisco in connection with the wrongful killing of Derrick Gaines. We've done this because, in our view, this shooting of Derrick Gaines was unlawful, it was wrongful, it was unnecessary, and it was a product really of basic fundamental wrongful profiling. Because at the time, Derrick and the other young man were just walking through, and the police officer sees them and stops them, and then the event starts. But for this sort of profiling of two young men, this event never would have happened. And ultimately the officer stops him. Derrick takes off. He's running. He gets tripped up by the officer. He has a club foot, could not run very fast. And when he does get tripped up, a gun falls from his waist. Now, before he was stopped, he had committed no crime. He had not been involved in any illegal activity that the police knew or saw. And so there wasn't any lawful basis. There was no probable cause. There was no reasonable suspicion to believe that he had committed a crime. All he was doing was walking through the gas station on a path that was regularly followed by just about everyone who lives in this community who walks across this street. So once he was tripped, a gun fell out, and it fell out 10, 12 feet away. The officer then jumps on him and then steps back and shoots him. When he does that, Derrick had not at any point in time pointed the firearm, had not reached for the firearm. The firearm was not even in reachable distance, and the officer stepped back and shot and killed him. There was no warning, there was no direction. It was a hasty, panicky activity on the part of this officer. And so we have filed a lawsuit alleging that civil rights violations have occurred, that it was a wrongful death that should not have occurred, and that the officer himself used deadly force under circumstances that were not justified at the time. We have filed this lawsuit largely because the family has not been able to get any justifiable, reasonable answers from the police department. We have in fact submitted a request to the department to get their reports, to tell us essentially what happens. It's a question of transparency. And the reason why that has not happened, because there was no justification for it. That this started off in a wrongful way, that is stopping illegally these two young men, then ultimately resulting in the death of Derrick Gaines. And from our point of view, there was no justification for the stop, there was no justification for the shooting, and this young man is dead, and he should not be. And his family is suffering in ways that any one of us as parents can imagine. The death of a young man who was trying to find his way. Granted, he was very young, he was had some problems, but he was 15. And a lot of 15-year-olds have a chance to make up and make their lives whole and do better. He was not given that chance. His life was wrongfully taken from him. And we filed this lawsuit to seek some form of justice for Derrick and his family. Any questions? Any other family members would like to have something to say?
Yeah, you know, there's nothing that's going to bring Derrick back. But my hope is that his death won't be just a meaningless killing, that some changes will be made in procedure, that people will recognize that these are our kids out there, and there's other ways of dealing with them rather than shooting and killing them.
It's also a question of accountability, that when you use deadly force, you have to be held accountable for your actions. And that action has to be measured against a legal standard about objectivity, reasonableness of it, objectively reasonable. An officer cannot say, I shot him because I thought. He has to have a basis to do it that's justifiable. And accountability, transparency, these are very important terms that it means that we can hold officers accountable for their misconduct.
My name is Justine. I'm Derrick Gaines. We want to make sure this does not happen to any more of our youth. Unfortunately, we don't know why our youth right now are doing the misbehaving things that they do, but they are youth. They will grow out of it, and we need to find other ways to deal with it. This is excessive force, and we shouldn't have it in our community with our children. Thank you.
My name is Derrick Gaines, and I've been hurt ever since my son got killed by the police, and it's killing me, man. It's really killing me. I have not said anything, but it's not right. It's not right. And every day, having a harder time dealing with this, you know? And I know how police are, man. And it's killing me. It's not a day go by I don't miss my baby, man. That's my only son.
I think that I just want to say finally that when we have these shooting deaths of young people, it's easy to forget the pain that families suffer, that is hurtful, and it's a long-term pain, and until they get answers, resolution, that pain will never go away. And we see that in this family, and as we see it in other families. So the lawsuit is a way at least bringing the activity to a place where you can at least work toward getting some form of justice. And because the pain the family is feeling will never go away until they have an opportunity to find out exactly what happened and determine whether it was lawful or not in terms of what happened.